So we're going over Dr. David's Dementia Dirty Dozen, and this week we're talking about immune dysfunction. I know there's a lot of different immune, are we calling them diseases? No.
Autoimmune disorders.
Disorders.
Yeah. Autoimmune disorders when the immune system goes haywire and for some reason attacks certain parts of the body. So for instance, with the thyroid gland, it could be something like Hashimoto's disease. It's also an autoimmune disorder that affects the thyroid gland. In the brain, there's something called multiple sclerosis, where the immune cells in the brain attack the sheets or the linings of the nerves, causing all kinds of problems. And this happens all over the body. Now, here's the problem, ladies. Ladies are 4 times more likely to have an autoimmune condition than men are. Isn't that terrible?
Awful.
That's just terrible news. And there are several factors involved in it, including toxins, including the hormonal imbalances, genetics, obviously, and other things. So it's very important that we check our inflammation levels. So there's a test that I recommend to patients called HSCRP, that's high sensitivity C-reactive protein. Remember, C-reactive protein. And it is basically a measure of how much inflammation that is going on in the body. That can be a baseline, and if it's high, they can now look for things like autoimmune diseases in the body. I would recommend you do this at least once a year, just to find out the inflammatory levels, because as we've said over and over again, inflammation is the key thing that's going on in the brain that eventually leads to dementia. Now, inflammation could be from injuries, could be from infections, could be from an illness like diabetes and so on.
Yeah.
But the final common pathway for most of these conditions is inflammation, chronic inflammation that results in damage to the brain and eventually dementia. So again, back to autoimmune conditions. These are all when the immune system for some reason is triggered and attacks certain parts of the body. And there are several different kinds, almost 100 different kinds of autoimmune conditions. And these can eventually, indirectly or directly affect the brain in some way.
The test that you mentioned, is that something that your primary doctor can order for you?
Yes,
okay.
They can.
Okay.
Sometimes you might have to insist on it because they'll be like, well, what do you need it for? They might be asking for an indication, but if you say it's connected to your brain,
you have to take control of your medical needs, right? You have to take care of what's going on. And if you think that you may have one of these autoimmune disorders, get additional testing. Download Dr. David's Dementia Dirty Dozen. There are certainly, number one, knowing what you have is important.
Yes.
So that then you can take steps to reduce that inflammation.
Absolutely.
We hope you'll continue to watch. We'll see you soon.